Hey John, hey Kiana, it's Coach Matt over here at Elite Throws Coaching doing your video analysis. John, thanks so much for putting all these together on one clip or as one YouTube video. The way that the software I use works is that for every video, it creates its own file, I guess. So if I had to keep uploading different YouTube links into it, you would have gotten a different video for every YouTube video that I looked at. So if I took a look at 10 YouTube videos of Kiana throwing, you would have gotten 10 back, and it wouldn't have made sense to try to link them all together and find how they correlate and everything else. So putting them just like this back to back, all in order, is a lot easier. It definitely makes things a lot simpler for the end user, for you and Kiana to understand without having to piece everything together. So we've got the YouTube opened up here in Google Chrome, so I've got this going at quarter speed. And before I get started, I want to say Kiana does a lot of stuff really, really well. A lot of the big stuff that younger throwers have trouble with, she does really well. These are things like keeping the discus behind the right hip as she's driving through the circle. She also has a very good block with that left arm. But there's a few things in the circle that we're going to talk to you about today that you're going to improve upon. It's going to improve not only her leverages and her technique in the circle, but it's also going to improve her speed. So the faster that you're going, it's all about velocity, which is speed and direction. So the faster that you're moving, and the angle that you release at, the further the discus is going to go. So that's really the key to all throwing events, is speed and direction, is velocity. So I'm going to take a look here. And so the first thing I want to touch on is we've got to get Kiana in some type of a rhythm in the back of the circle. So I'm not too sure how far apart these throws are, if they were like all within the same season or if they're all within the same couple of months of each other. But her start of the throw is different in almost every single video. So we've got to get some kind of consistency to her throw. And what I would love to see is basically this. I would love to see her just go over the right, pull back, and then throw. So you can see all that stuff. We're 7 seconds into the video, and she's just starting off her throw. So all of that back and forth, that winding, that windmill stuff that she's doing in the back, it's different. As we go through the video, we're going to see it's different in every throw. But we really need to make that a consistent starting point. That way, she's going to get a better takeoff point with things like where she's shifting her weight, where her head is facing, where her arm is facing. All that stuff is going to just fall into place a lot better if the start is a lot better. So if we can get that cleaned up a little bit, that's probably, I wouldn't say that's the first correction to make, but that's just something to keep in mind as she does her full throws. Is just to keep it consistent in the back of the circle. Make sure that everything is smooth. Make sure it's just pull back and go. That way she's not doing the windmill thing and moving her feet all around. All right, so let's take a look at this throw here. So forward, and you can already see her feet are just not facing a good direction. As she started off the circle, you can see where her feet were located. And then because of all the winding and the turning and stuff like that, you can see where her feet ended up. She's kind of facing the wrong way, so to speak. She's kind of facing this way. Her back is facing down outside of that left sector, which should be facing right down the middle of the sector. And that's all because of that back and forth, that kind of motion that she does in the back of the circle. So just clean that up, and then her feet will still be in a good direction. A couple things we've got to talk about in the back of the circle. The big one is getting her weight over her left foot. So when we talk about the back of the circle, we want to see her hips and her sternum and her head shifting over this left knee and left ankle. So do you see how it looks like she's kind of sitting back, like her butt is behind the heel? We want to see her get her butt over the heel. So we want to see her shift onto her left foot. Where here she's not shifting her weight over, she's kind of sitting down in the back. And what that does is that causes sort of a fall See how she's sort of off balance here? It looks like if you just went over and touched her, she'd fall over. All of her weight, instead of being on top of the heel here, is off to the left. So we've got to make sure that we can get over that left side. And you can see what happens as she starts to over-rotate. This is where her back was pointing. This is where she thought the front of the circle was over here, and that's why she's driving over here instead of driving down the middle. So she really over-rotates on this one, and it all has to deal with the back of the circle, having the feet facing the wrong direction and not getting over her left side is causing her to kind of stumble to the middle. It's causing her to kind of fall to the middle and fall over on that left side of the circle. Still does a good job getting off, a good throw, but you can see what happens here. We're not in that good heel-toe position. The left foot's exactly where I want it, but that right foot should be here, and it's all the way over there. So you can see how it affects the whole throw. And that's really the big thing is, she can't stand up. Her hips, she's cutting herself off, blocking herself off. She's got flexible shoulders, so she's still able to get the throw down the middle. But imagine what that would look like if those feet were lined up here. If that right foot landed here when she drove to the middle instead of over here. So you can see it's just stuff that's happening in the back of the circle is throwing off what's happening in the front of the circle. So I'm going to go to a different one here where we are in the back. Where is it? This is a pretty good one too. You can see how she's... Actually, you can kind of see it from a good angle here. I didn't notice that before. But here's all the back and forth stuff. And now watch where those feet are pointed. See how her spine at this point is facing this way? She's looking at you. She's looking at the camera. But her back now is to the shrubs over here. Her back should be toward these guys out here that are marking. So the feet have turned. She's going this way, almost like a hammer thrower. She's sort of starting to turn those feet. It almost looks like that hammer turn, that heel turn. And watch what happens. Yep, come on, YouTube. There you go. See how she doesn't get her weight over that left side? This looks a little bit better than the first one, but she doesn't get the weight over that left side. Wish YouTube would work. That would be nice. Hello, YouTube. Good, and she over-rotates and cuts herself off. Let's see if we can see that again. Not sure why it's not going frame by frame here, but... So, does that heel turn, that hammer turn. She's running exactly where her back was pointing. Remember, her back was pointing over at these shrubs? So that's where she's going to drive. That's where this foot is pointing. It's where the knee is pointing. It's where her belly button and her sternum are all pointing down here. So that's where she's going to run, is down there. So the right foot over-rotates. The left foot comes down in a great spot, but she's cutting herself off. She doesn't have that heel-toe position, and it prevents her from standing up and getting some full extension at the end because she's cutting herself off. Now again, flexible shoulders, so she's able to get it down the middle. She kind of overcompensates at the end and gets it down the middle, but it's not natural. It's got to be a natural progression to get down the middle. Everything is going down this left sector and outside the left sector, and she's throwing it down the middle. So little things like that we need to really watch out for. Where is it? This one, you can see it from the back angle. It's kind of tough to see. See all that back and forth. See how that's different from the first time she did it? She always does that though. Back, forth, and now she does a second time. Back, forth. Now look at where her feet are pointing. Her feet are pointing over here between these two poles. So all that bouncing around in the back of the circle, what that has really done is it misaligns her in the back. So we've got to put an end to that. We've got to kind of get rid of that. That probably comes from superstition, where she did that a bunch of times. My chair is really squeaky. If you hear that squeaking, sorry about that. She's probably did that a few times before some really good throws, so she keeps adding on to it. It's more of a superstition type of thing. I would try to put an end to that if we can, because it's not aligning her correctly in the back. So you can see where her feet are pointing. Her heels are pointing between these two poles right there. Then we're going to go do that heel turn, so she's not turning on the toe. She's doing that heel turn, that kind of like Reese Hoffa used to do that in shot put. There's that over rotation. Cuts herself off. And she can't stand up all the way and get all of that vertical push, that full extension with her legs and hips, because she's blocking herself off. She's not landing in that good heel-toe position. Now there are some others at the end here that I want to take a look at, because these I think are really good. These are really telling. Starting up right after this one here. Here we go. So back of the circle. Like that you're using a Nelco Discus. We actually just became a Nelco. Now that's a little bit better. So these look a little bit more recent. You can tell the difference. Let's take a look here. So I want 1, 2, and go. But see how she's already looking with her head and how her feet are already starting to turn? She's kind of got that, like, she's antsy in the back of the circle. Calm her down a little bit. Get her just to pull back one time and go. Okay, now from here, see, she keeps her arms nice and long. That's really, really good. Different than the last time. The last really kind of almost like a shortened left arm. Everything was really tight on that left side. Now it's nice and long. I like that, but let's get those hips over the left side. And you'll see here, see how her body is still in between her feet? I want to see her get her hips and her butt over her left side. So the way that I always explain it, it's like this. So say you're walking, or say your best friend is walking down a hallway, a long, long hallway in your house, and you're hiding in the bathroom, and you're going to try to turn around and jump out in the hallway to scare him as he's walking up the hallway. Imagine that she's standing behind a wall right now. She would be trying to put her face through the wall. She needs to get around the frame of that door. So she's got to turn and go around the wall, or else she's going to go straight through the wall. So see how she's not on that left, she's over here. We want to get the hip over that left foot. So she's, again, right here. If she were to stop in this position, if I was coaching her live, and I said, okay, stop, she would have to kind of stumble in the circle and catch herself. Where if her hips were over that left foot and I said stop, she could just stop. She was much more balanced that way. This way is not balanced, and you can see she kind of stumbles into the circle. See how she kind of falls over this way? She over-rotates. Now she's in a good heel-toe position, but she's actually not lined up. So she's lined up down the left sector instead of being lined up down the middle. That left toe should be here. The right toe should be here. So she's got a good heel-toe position, but she's not lined up down the middle. She's lined up outside of where that left sector would be. Then when she throws, you can see what happens. Right sector foul. So we've got some stuff going on. And I would say we've got some definite things to work on here. And they all start from the back of the circle. So getting around that left side is the key. Get around your left. Get her weight onto her left foot. Shift her weight over. So Mac Wilkins used to call it low, left, and long. You get low in the back of the circle. Bend your knees and get low. Left means shift your weight, shift your upper body over your left side. And then long is that nice long right leg. So see where her feet are pointing? Her feet are pointing over there. Her heels are pointing over there. Now watch. At this point, it's not just spin, you shift. See how she keeps her hips in the middle? Shift over that left foot. So shift your weight over the left. Don't just spin and fall backwards. Don't squat on your toe. Push all your weight over that left side. See it again. So let's watch. Left side right here. So her whole entire body should be on the other side of this cursor. Ready? I'll move it with the video. Should be on the other side of the cursor. And see how it doesn't get there? It should be on the other side. So that's what we need to work on, getting around that left side. There it is. Here's her left side. See how she's not getting there? She's falling off into the left. That's the biggest issue that we need to work on, and it's demonstrated very nicely in these videos. You can see sort of the cause and the effect. The problem, we're not getting around that left, and sort of the after effect of that is being off balance and falling onto that right foot and over-rotating and falling onto that right foot and then not getting herself in a good position. So let's take a look at this throw here. This is the last one I want to take a look at. And then we'll kind of go through things a little bit and talk about some solutions to the problem. And see a completely different start than she had before. So right now, the hips are in between the feet. As she goes to unwind, she needs to shift the hips over the left foot. Don't just spin. Don't be a hammer thrower. Don't spin and stay between your feet. Get the hips over the left foot. Get on your left. See how the hips are in between the feet still? She needs to push those hips over that left side. Get around her left. See where her foot's pointing? Her foot is now pointing over here, and she's going to fall into that right side. She's not going to really explode. Her body weight is, everything is aiming down to right there. That's exactly where the foot goes. It's massive over rotation, and she's blocking herself off, so she's not going to get full extension. Again, she compensates. She jumps in the air. She switches her feet. Her shoulders are really flexible. That's all well and good because the discus still goes down the middle, but that should not be happening. If she wasn't as gifted as she is physically, where she has flexible shoulders and a good awareness of where she's at in the circle, these would be going into the cage every single time. Just putting them right into that net every single time. But she does a good job of getting around. It's just things need to be cleaned up in the back. So to go through this again, biggest things. The first big thing, the major thing that needs the most amount of work is going to be getting over her left side, shifting her weight onto her left so that she's nicely balanced and then she can drive down the middle. The second thing we need to work on is the kind of being too antsy in the back of the circle. I just want her to pull the discus back and go. So pull back and go. Get rid of all the back and forth, up and down, windmill, figure eight type of stuff that's going on in the back of the circle, because that's getting her feet pointing in the wrong direction. All right, and the third thing that we need to work on is going to be staying on the toe and pivoting on the toe in the back of the circle, not doing that hammer toe or that hammer turn kind of heel toe motion that she's got going on. Again, it takes too much time. Don't go heel toe and drive if you can just stay on the toe and drive. There's no point in that extra couple, the extra split second of going from the heel then onto the toe. Just stay on the toe the whole time and drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all into an email for you. I'm going to give you some links to my YouTube channel and some other people's YouTube channels that explains this really well. It's a pretty common thing that happens. That a lot of times it's a very unnatural movement. It's very natural to stay between your feet and balanced, but then once you pick one foot up, you fall over. So you got to shift your weight, just like when you walk. When you walk or when you run, your body will shift over the foot that's on the ground, so you don't fall over. That's why babies have such a hard time walking. They don't have that balance. They don't have that proprioception where they can shift their weight over the foot that's on the ground. We need to do that in the back of the circle. Shift the weight over that left foot because the left foot's the one on the ground. And once you can do that, you're better balanced. You're going to be able to drive down the circle a lot better. You're going to be in a better power position. You're going to be able to explode and get full extension into that throw. So all the stuff at the end that we talked about, exploding up into the throw, not cutting herself off, all that good stuff and the right sector files that we saw during that practice session, all that stuff is going to take care of itself. That's all going to get fixed because you're fixing the stuff in the back. All that has to deal with is alignment, and the reason why she's misaligned is because of what's happening in the back. So you sort of have to play detective a little bit and figure out the root cause of all this stuff. And for Kiana, it's all in the back of the circle. So I'm going to get working on that email for you right now. I'm going to upload this to YouTube as a private video so that no one else can watch it. And I'm also going to link you to a bunch of other videos that are on my YouTube channel and other people's YouTube channels that explain getting around the left and getting your balance on that left foot in the back. All right, John, thanks again for purchasing the video analysis. I know you emailed me a while ago about the online coaching that we're doing. I'm still working with the developer to get that done. Originally, it was for golfers and other athletes, so we're tweaking a few things so it will work with throwers. Hopefully it just make things a lot easier, but it's literally going in and fixing code, which takes forever. The guy's being great about it. But for right now, that's still on hold. But as soon as that becomes available, I will let you know. Hope you and Kiana are doing great. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.